Director of Technical Services, Mr. Isaiah Dukwao, Director of Research, Monitoring and Evaluation, Mr. Sadiq, Director of Finance, Ghana AIDS Commission, Mr. Okoye Jare, Deputy Director, Programs, Ghana AIDS Commission, Mr. Odru, Deputy Director, Administration, Ghana AIDS Commission. We have Dr. Nish Makri, representing UNAIDS. There's Ms. Jade Enyunam Kwame, PEPFAR, US Government. And Sir Eddie Donton, President WAF. So we'll swing into the program, and I believe it's time for the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission to give his welcome remarks. Let's welcome him, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Margaret. The President of SAR and President of ICASA, Dr. David Perry, Dr. Amy, Board Member of SAR, Dr. Stephen Aisiado, the Program Manager of National AIDS Control and National AIDS and STI Control Program. Our good friend Nish, representing the Country Director of UNAIDS, Jade, representing the PEPFAR team, the management of the Ghana AIDS Commission, distinguished reps from civil society and the press. Good morning to you all. On behalf of the President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who is the chairman of the Ghana AIDS Commission, I have the distinct honor and pleasure to welcome our esteemed guests from SAR and welcome all of you to this important event. As some of you may know, about 3 months ago, we received a letter from the SAR board indicating that Ghana's bid to host the 2025 ICASA has been pre-selected. And that was a very good news for all of us. We're so excited that the journey had just begun. And so an inspecting team from SAR visited the country to commence the next phase of determining whether Ghana was suitable or not for hosting the conference. And the inspecting team was led by its president, the SAR president, Dr. Perry, who is sitting right here with us, and other members, including Dr. Amy, and the SAR director, SAR coordinator, and the ICASA director, Mr. Luke Bodia, who happens to be the head of the SAR Secretariat in Ghana. They inspected the conference facilities that have been proposed to be used for ICASA 2025 and also assess our preparation for hosting the conference. And they had the privilege of meeting the president of Ghana to inform him of the fact that Ghana is likely to host the conference. and sought the government of Ghana's commitment to making it come to pass. The president heartily received that information and assured that Ghana stands ready to host the conference if given the opportunity. Just a few weeks ago, we received the good news that Ghana has been selected to host ICASA 2025. And the SAR president requested an appointment with the president to sign the MOU on hosting the ICASA 2025, and also have the president announce to the Ghanaian people, the global community, our partners, the sponsors, and the media, both locally and internationally, that Ghana has accepted to host the conference, and it is going to make it one of the most memorable conferences SAR has ever held. So last night, in spite of his busy schedule, the president warmly received the SAR team and presided over the signing of the MOU and made the announcement to the whole world that Ghana not only stands ready, but is well prepared and fully committed to make this conference the best. So this morning we are here to read the press about the ICASA conference, the processes, and the need for the press to be actively involved from day one till the end. It's also an event to get the commitment of the press to convey the message to the general public and to work with their international colleagues to make this conference, well publicized around the world. And so for us, it is not just hosting a conference. It is to provide the platform that will bring the spotlight on Ghana's HIV response and all the challenges in order to mobilize the international and local people and the community of practice and experts in HIV and AIDS to support Ghana and Africa as a whole so that we can make progress towards achieving the 2030 global targets. And so that should be our focus. It is Ghana's hosting this conference is going to actually put Ghana in a positive spotlight globally. And all of us as a people and the media will have to highlight the positives about Ghana and about the conference. As you all know, we have targets to achieve. By the end of 2025, we are supposed to diagnose at least 95% of persons living with HIV in the country. And those who are diagnosed, at least 95% of them should be given sustained antiretroviral therapy to ensure that they achieve viral suppression. And at the end of the day, we want to see that 95% of people living with HIV and receiving antiretroviral treatment are actually virally suppressed. We are lagging behind on these targets, and this conference, for me, will provide significant impetus for us to achieve these targets. And we all have to work together to make this a reality. So once again, Mr. President and your team, you're welcome, and we thank you for giving Ghana this great opportunity. And we promise we will never let you down. We will rather surprise you. I thank you very much.
Shall we give Dr. Chuani another round of applause? I think we all know that, we now know that Ghana is indeed going to host the ICASA 2025. And by Ghana, it means all of us. So we're all going to work at brightening our little corners to make the conference a success and also work hard at achieving the targets. So we'll take our next remarks from the Minister for Health Ghana, represented by the Program Manager of the National AIDS Control Program, Dr. Stephen A. Siado. Let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Margaret. The Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Stephen Chebe, the President of the Society for AIDS in Africa, Dr. Marietta, Dr. Amy, who is a board member of the SAR, the Executive Director of SAR, Mr. Luke Bodia, our distinguished development partners, civil society organizations gathered here, all members of the press and distinguished stakeholders in the national response to HIV. On behalf of the Honorable Minister for Health, Dr. Bernard Okoboy, and the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumafwaji, and on my own behalf, I want to begin by, first of all, giving thanks to God Almighty for this day, because this is the day the Lord has made, and we have every cause to rejoice and be glad. We have every cause to be glad because it's the first time in the history of this country, despite efforts in the past, to host this important Pan-African conference. So if it is happening in our time, then it's a privilege to be able to be part of this history that is evolving. The health sector of the country, led by the Ministry of Health, recognizes that there are a lot of threats to the population. Recent times we've experienced various pandemic threats like COVID-19. But prior to the coming of COVID-19, existed other very formidable conditions that continue to confront us, including malaria, tuberculosis, other non-communicable diseases, and HIV. The impact of HIV on the world continues to remain very strongly. As we are all aware, about almost 40 million people globally are living with HIV. Sub-Saharan Africa bears the biggest brunt of the number of people living with HIV. Ghana is home to some 334,000 people. HIV, despite the fact that people think it's no more an important issue, is still having a toll on the health system and the population of Ghana. Last year alone, an estimated 12,400 people died of HIV-related conditions. We recorded almost 18,000 new infections. HIV affects every sphere of the population: children, pregnant women, everyone, including key population. We know that the burden of HIV in Ghana is highest in transgender women. That is almost 50%. And that is just followed by the men who have sex with men at 26%. Now, the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission indicated clearly that we are lagging behind the target as far as 95 aspirational targets are concerned. But I'm very happy that with this opportunity and everything related to the preparation for ICASA 2025, the community of stakeholders in HIV will see this as an opportunity to accelerate, to double up, and to ensure that we catch up with these targets. Already looking at the data this year, we believe that we will be able to get there. But this country is confronted by various challenges, foremost physical challenges, which has contributed to some kind of impediment to the national response. Whereas, together with our major support, Global Fund to fight AIDS, TB, and Malaria, American system, and the UN system, we've been able to secure some funding for treatment and some commodities and for programmatic activity. There exists a great gap in all these areas. It's been a challenge trying to find resources to complement these funds. And we continue to work very hard to find creative ways to do this. When we were applying and we did all the research, we were happy to learn that the Society for AIDS Africa, the organizers of ICASA, have always successfully organized this conference and been able to keep, though they are not a profit-making organization, a residue which is given back to the country. We were yesterday very gratified to hear that Zimbabwe, who handed over the baton to us, are going to benefit from a certain almost $400,000 after that $1,000 after that conference. So Ghana is looking forward to more than double that. And we believe that that is going to be a major injection and a major investment in our national response, which has suffered challenges because key aspects of the national response, the prevention component and all that, remain unfunded. And so we see this as a creative and innovative opportunity to get some resources that will be useful and available to supplement and complement all the existing funding. We don't see this as a benefit for only HIV, but the whole health system of Ghana. Through this conference, we believe that systems will be strengthened, capacity will be built with respect to our human resource. Through this conference, Ghana is going to benefit in tourism. There's going to be trade and all kinds of benefits that we have not imagined. And that is the reason why we cherish this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Health will continue to provide the leadership and whatever it takes to ensure that we host this successfully. I call on all our development partners to stand with us as they have been in the past. If there is any moment now to be committed and to be together, this is the time. We have a great opportunity to demonstrate the hospitality of Ghanaian, of the Ghanaian to the rest of the world. We are looking forward to hosting more than 10,000 people, and together with all the other ministries, the security agencies, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and other important sector ministry, we're going to work together to ensure that In December 2025, Ghana will be the destination, the #1 destination, because of ICASA 2025 to the rest of the world. I thank you very much, and I ask for God's blessing to you. God bless our homeland Ghana and make it strong. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Isiado. Indeed, we are cherishing the moment, as you said, and we're very proud that we're going to host this conference, and believe that with your support, it's going to be a success. So we'll take the next speech by the ICASA 2025 President, Dr. Perry. Let's welcome him, please.
Okay, good. This is very good. Yeah, I will sit down. Yeah, Director of Programs. Yeah. Let me recognize the Honorable Minister of Health, represented here by Dr. Stephen Isiado. Let me also recognize the DG of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Chwane, our board member, Emi Teshire. Let me recognize you. Our director, Youth Wadia, and your team. They were the other team members from. So just put up your hands. It's good. I think this is very, very good. Let me recognize all the distinguished looking gentlemen here who have already been recognized. But I'm pleased also that UNA is here. Thank you so much. That's really good solidarity. CBC, thank you so much. And PEPFAR, are you all enrolled in one? That's why you sit like that. Let me recognize you. Thank you so much. The media, who really are, like Luke has said, are going to be key in passing on the messages. This is a delightful day for us, and it should be more celebratory. Must be celebrated more than being solemn, but also at the same time be more determined to fight HIV and AIDS. It is true that since as far back as the 1980s, when HIV started, there was no treatment. People were just being given hope. And prevention, ABC, was the norm then. But then treatment came. People's lives were saved. And a lot of people are living with HIV as we speak because they are on treatment. But because of that, there's now complacency. People are saying, well, it's like another disease. Indeed, it is. But the complacency has made it have a boom again. It's coming up among certain populations, certain key populations, and also among the youths. So it is delightful that Ghana has decided, and in a determined way, when you saw His Excellency the President yesterday, we were so happy the way he committed himself to being part and parcel of fighting HIV. And it's within Ghana. But he also said globally, and that really pleased us. So I think that Ghana deserves all this. I'm going to sit down now and read his speech, his statement for the press release. The Society for AIDS in Africa is delighted to announce that Ghana has been selected as the host country for the 23rd edition of the International Conference on AIDS, STIs in Africa. We here, as we sit, we must listen to this discourse as we disseminate it. This conference will take place from the 3rd the 8th of December 2025 at the Accra International Conference Centre. This prestigious event will convene global leaders, the communities, researchers, advocates, and healthcare professionals to further the continent's fight against HIV/AIDS, STIs, hepatitis, malaria, TB, and other emerging viral infections, and strengthening Africa's health systems. Since its inception in 1989, Society for AIDS in Africa has been at the forefront in providing a global platform for Africa's response to the HIV and AIDS pandemic. ICASA has become a landmark event, bringing together thousands of delegates from across the globe to share insights, to share research, and to share strategies to combat HIV and AIDS pandemic and emerging viral diseases on the African continent. Over 8,000 delegates from over 105 countries attended ICASA in 2023 in Harare, Zimbabwe. Ghana's selection marks its first time hosting the conference. This 23rd edition of ICASA will be hosted in West Africa, and it will also mark the 35th anniversary of the Society for AIDS in Africa. So there will be a lot of activities during that period. So Ghana is particularly not fortunate, but you have more responsibility now because we're going to be celebrating 35 years of Society for AIDS in Africa. The choice of Ghana is the ICASA 25 host is testament to the country's leadership through His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana. The selection process was highly competitive. I must say it was extremely competitive, with Ghana's bid emerging as successful due to its demonstrated exceptional and dedication to addressing HIV and AIDS challenges in the West Africa sub-region. When you look at the Africa region, you will find that there is a bit of lagging behind in West Africa in terms of HIV and AIDS, in terms of the fight against HIV and AIDS. So this is a big opportunity for West Africa to actually highlight that fight. ICASA 2025 in Accra will be a pivotal moment in advancing Africa's health systems towards achieving sustainable development goals. The global goal of ending new HIV infections by 2030 and advancing the AU Agenda 2063. When we say we want to end AIDS by 2023, end it as a public health threat. It means some people still believe with HIV, but they will not manifest AIDS. This is really what we want to aim at. The Society for AIDS in Africa extends its deepest gratitude to the government of Ghana for its unwavering support and commitment to hosting this important event. ICASA 2025 promises to build on the successes of previous editions and further mobilize Africa and the international community in the global effort to end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. So we think it will be, like you rightly said, Honorable Minister, like you rightly said, that we think this will be one of the best ICASAs. One, because Ghana is very strong, very stable. We think we have managed, things have been managed very democratically. Was very, very pleased with that. Number one. Number two, Society for AIDS in Africa is actually housed here. This is the headquarters. And look who heads that is here. So we believe when you coordinate with look here, look, you've got more responsibility now to make it a real success beyond others. Honorable Minister, this we expect to be happening. That because of your closeness to look, and also the commitment of His Excellency, that political will, we believe that you will do well. And then you will also benefit from the years and years of experience that we've acquired. Now we're going to put it all onto you, Director of Programs. I can see the way you're still sitting there. I think that is going to happen We hope so. ICASA 2025 promises to build on all this. And I think that the preparations have already started. And we invite stakeholders, partners, and the global health community to stay updated on the latest developments. The first International Steering Committee meeting of ICASA 2025 will be held from the 28th to the 29th of November 2024 at the Alisa Hotel in Accra. It means that Amy, you'll be back here again. Yes, right. And I think this is important. When we do the steering committee, we expect almost all of you to be in that meeting so that we can advance the hosting of this particular conference. But with those few words, I really want to wish you well. And I'm quite convinced in my mind and indeed in my heart that we are going to be delighted with Ghana. So God bless Africa and God bless Ghana. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Perry. I think he deserves another round of applause. It's obvious that ICASA 2025 holds many promises for Ghana, and just for the sheer delight of what lies ahead, let's give ourselves another round of applause. And we have another item of the program, but with your permission, perhaps we'll take some questions and answers from the media. Would any of you like to ask anything about ICASA 2025?
So my name is Sarah Penkro. I work with TV3 Ghana. And I want to find out how significant is this conference going to be in impacting the efforts at controlling HIV in the sub-region?
Is there any other question before you do the answers? Perhaps we can do the answer now.
Well, it's a very good question. It's an exciting question. How significant will this be to impact on HIV AIDS? First of all, let's recognize that there are certain targets that have been set by UNAIDS. 95, 95, 95, which have been articulated here very, very well. And those targets for Ghana, I think they're in the 80s, 68, 84s, and something like that. So you are going to have to really work hard to meet those targets. Already that's an impact. Already you're going to focus. Already you're going to say, how do you achieve them? Already you're going to therefore mobilize communities. And the fortunate communities are represented here. You have to mobilize communities so that people are tested, people are put on ARVs, and people are then diagnosed to see if those ARVs are effective on them. Is that sustainable? So that's already very significant. Number two, you're surrounded here, Ghana, and you are respected. Ghana is very respected as a country by a lot of neighbors. We hope that this particular conference, you will be able to mobilize countries around yourselves, not only come to this conference, but to be able to benefit from this conference. So we are going to impact the whole of West Africa. So you'll find Benin, Nigeria, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, all those countries, Liberia, they're all going to say, this is a West African event. And we hope that you can mobilize people there, get in touch with the various ministers of health in that region, make sure that they attend this conference. Because one of the things that we like is for such conferences, that the political leadership becomes very paramount. So if ministers of health, in some cases, heads of state, when we had it in Zimbabwe, we invited heads of state and some came. So that impact will be felt here. So that West Africa is very huge. And also don't forget that this conference is bilingual. French and English speaking. So don't forget the French speaking countries because they're English speaking. They must be here as well. So I think it will be a big impact outside the issue of tourism that you talk of in terms of making money for the country, and that's something else. But in terms of HIV, it's going to be really significant. The researchers are going to be here. Academia is going to be here. And you are going to highlight your abstracts. What abstracts have you made? What has happened so far? PEPFAR is there, CDC, UNAIDS. So it's going to be very impactful. And I believe that unless you want to add more impact, and I know you have done research on it, you may want to put more impact. Emmy, you may want to add, look, you may want to add one or two things so that that question is fully addressed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, the significance of this event and the impact is huge. Imagine that within the 8,000 plus people that we come, we have a big community of researchers. The first thing that we need to share is the best practice across the globe, because ICASA is not only for Africa, but more than 150 countries attended ICASA. It means that in Ghana here, we have more than 105 countries coming to Ghana. And they will share best practice. They will also share the latest knowledge on HIV. And beyond that, because we are not talking only about HIV, we are talking about malaria, TB, and how to strengthen the health system globally in our continent. And we cannot do it without the Western world. This is why out of the 56 countries from Africa, we have over the whole world are covered here. As my president has said during his speech, during the statement, 105 countries attended ICASA in Zimbabwe. But for this ICASA, we are shooting for more than that. Because in Ethiopia in 2011, we get up to 170 countries. Why not here in Ghana? We can do it, it's possible. These are just a few minutes. Thank you.
Sarah. I know you are concerned about the fact that not much noise is being made about HIV. This conference is going to change that. It is actually going to reactivate all the community voices and structures that have gone to sleep on HIV to begin to not only think, but speak, discuss, and find solutions to the HIV situation. Why? Because we are going to receive up-to-date information and knowledge on HIV. We are going to receive scientific data on HIV, on Ghana, on Africa, other African countries, and even other parts of the world. And we'll be able to compare and see where we stand as a country. And besides that, the new breakthroughs we are having and the opportunities these breakthroughs offer us to do more to catch up with the global community in addressing the epidemic in the country. So one of your major concerns is the funding. We are going to see impact in that area as well. Why? Because what government will get to know, what the people of Ghana will get to know, and for me, most importantly, what the media is going to get to know will compel all of us to take concrete steps in addressing not just the funding gap, but every programmatic and systemic challenges should be addressed. So for me, that is the impact I am looking forward to. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think, as the president said, West Africa has been one of the Afro regions where the response seems very stagnated gradually. So ECOWAS going to host this is going to benefit from a stimulation and a reactivation. We believe that institutions in the sub-region will build capacity. Because by the time we finish, there's going to be shared learning and best practices. And we hope that if even Ghana will not host the next one, another West African country can also host. That was the last time West Africa hosted was 7 years ago, Cote d'Ivoire, and then Abuja has hosted before, but it was long ago. About this 23 years or 35 years of the SAR, it must become a routine. I don't want it to be like our participation sometimes in the World Cup. We try and then we go and come. But as you can see, Brazil, they are there always. It has become part of them. So we believe that the successes we will talk in this conference will beget or give birth to more success for the ECOWAS region. And we can now build on it because then it becomes a norm for West Africa to host these conferences with all these associated impact. So this is just to let you know that if you decide to exclude yourself from this movement and process, you will be missing a lot. The media will build capacity. And we expect that the scientists in the ECOWAS region will increase because people will have the opportunity to be mentored. There will be opportunities for new careers or early careers in research to benefit from mentorship and various packages. And we believe that through this, the membership of Society for AIDS in Africa in the West Africa sub-region, the ECOWAS, will also increase. And once that happens, our voice in SAR also gets deeper. And once our voice is deeper, then we can influence what is happening in the society to the benefit of the sub-region. So as for the impact, as the ICASA director said, it will be huge. Thank you very much.
So last but not least, let me also say that, first of all, announcing Ghana is an impact on its own because it goes through the world. And it doesn't, like if you say Ghana, it means there's something special in Ghana as to why you are hosting. And we all know that the HIV and AIDS response is not the business of menstrual health. It is everyone's business. So this is also an opportunity for the Ghana AIDS Commission, the Ministry of Health, to work with different departments in this country. The Ministry of Transport will come in, security will come in, and several others, including the tourism industry, the business community. There is going to be huge impact if you look at the number of people who will be here in Ghana. And that also will have a direct impact in the HIV response. And I'll tell you for free, when you have ICASA in Ghana, PEFA, UNAIDS, and all the big partners, our sisters and brothers, they'll be here. And that means you are also going to get resources for the HIV and AIDS response in Ghana. The aftermath of the ICASA conference is going to be positivity for the country in terms of even improving the healthcare systems in Ghana. So take it, Ghana, and we congratulate you. I'm from Kenya. We've tried for both 3 times and we have not succeeded. despite myself being a board member. So we are straightforward and we are very democratic. So if you see it coming to Ghana, it was done democratically. I thank you.
Thank you very much for the responses. Just one question and so many responses. It shows what a good question that was. Is there any other question? You'd like to ask the question? Please make it brief.
Okay. My concern has to do with the funding gap that DG mentioned. I would like to know if the conference is going to have a target, a specific target, funding target at the end of the conference. That target will be able to, or the member countries will be able to use the target to support the activities. Thank you.
So to add up, my name is Daniel from KTV. I want to make it very brief. ICASA, 10 years to come, where will ICASA be in terms of having HIV, AIDS, and STIs in Africa?
Thank you very much. A very, very important questions. The target will be set by the ones will sit down and say, where are our gaps that we can't answer here? They'll sit down and say, where are the gaps where we want to, do we need more advocacy, for an example? Do we target the key populations only? Do we target universities? Because the youth HIV is booming there. So it will be up to them to sit down and put targets. Then they'll put into partners, government, individuals, and that I think will answer your question. The second part, where will SAR be in 10 years' time? And I think again that's a very nice question. You have seen that we are not looking only at HIV. It's also TB. Other infectious diseases. Recently we've been talking about Mpox. We're having webinars on Mpox. So we will not be stagnant just on HIV. HIV is impacting on other diseases. So we will continue going. We've seen that cancer sometimes is also precipitated by people who are immune compromised. So we cannot ignore cancer. Whether of the cervix, the breast, we must go there as well. So it will be a continuum. It will be a continuum of a fight. TB, as you know, TB is 80% of people who have with HIV are 80% of people with TB are HIV positive. So we can see the relationship. It will go on. The same as malaria. We still have malaria. So all those conditions will continue to work on them year in, year out. Perhaps other members here who some of them will go to school for these issues. They want to add a few other insights.
Okay, thank you very much for the response. I think she wraps things up. And we thank you all for coming back. Before we do that, I'd like to invite the ICASA director to give the vote of thanks and closure to this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Director. If Mary David, let me first of all apologize to all the participants and the press, because we say we have to start at 9, but we start very late. Please accept our apology for that. Usually when we say 9, we are up to time. You know, we noticed that when we start unfolding the ICASA program. And I want to call all of you to know that the first activity for ICASA will be in November, from 8 to 29 November this year. Meaning that we have started ICASA already. Some of you received the invitation already. And we sent out the thematic of ICASA. We sent out call for thematics to ask the general public all over the world to propose thematics and also to propose the objective of the conference. We deliberate on all these things during the first committee meeting. It is my singular honor and pleasure to give the vote of thanks at this very successful press conference. Let me first acknowledge the leadership of the President, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, who personally announced Ghana as a host country of the 2025 International Conference on AIDS and STI in Africa. He said yesterday at the Jubilee House in Ghana that Ghana is ready to welcome the 56 states of Africa and the international community to Accra from the 3rd to 8th December 2025. ICASA 2025 will be unique. It will be unique because 2025 will witness the 35th anniversary of the Society for AIDS in Africa. This anniversary, which called for celebration and still reflections on our readiness to end AIDS by 2030, according to the SDGs, as we be near 5 years to the goal. It means that 2025 is a turning point. ICASA 2025 will be hosted in West Africa, where we have several challenges in the HIV response when we compare with the other regions in Africa. We believe that ICASA 2025 Ghana is at the crossroad to challenge African leadership for effective domestic financing for our health system in Africa. At least it is high time to go beyond the Abuja Declaration and to stop AIDS as public health threat in Africa. I will conclude by taking all the media here present and people who are also online. I think you heard me broadcast it. Yeah. They are our partners to communicate officially that Ghana, the heart of Africa, is ready to welcome the world in December 2025. For the development partners, community, researchers, activists, leaders, advocates, healthcare personnel, let us make sure that ICASA 2025 will set the tone towards 2030. Thank you so much. May God bless Ghana and protect our beloved continent.
Mr. President, on behalf of the government of Ghana and the AIDS Commission, we want to thank everybody who has come. And for me, we are very grateful to you because you accepted our invitation at very short notice. So having been able to join us this morning, for me, is very important that we acknowledge that. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you once again. May God bless us all.
I was just going to say, one of the, I think it's a secret. I think there are certain international secrets. You know, when we were doing our pre-selection, one of the things that we looked at were possibility of elections and what impact it has. And when we looked at Ghana, we are aware that the election is going to be held very soon. But we were so confident that it will be peaceful, that the handover will be so nice, or a takeover or whatever would be really. So we didn't even fear that. So another country would have said, no, because they're going to elections, let's wait. So it just shows the confidence that we have in Ghana. And we really hope we have very good elections and peaceful elections. And I really wish you well. Thank you.
With the time permission of the chairman, I'd like to humbly invite Isaiah to give us the closing prayer. We didn't start with the prayer, we want to end the prayer.
Yeah. Shall we? Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, we thank you for such a wonderful meeting. We thank you that we're able to bring things to fruition. And those sell as a beginning for a very successful ICASA 2024. We give you the glory, we give you the honor, and we know it once again.